Ross, and as best man, I see it, it's my job to talk about, sing Mike's praises and talk about all his good points. But I can't lie and I won't sing. So let's see what happens. Now, when I told my grandpa that I was going to be the best man, my grandpa was always a man giving advice. And his genuine advice to me was this. He said, Ross, a good speech is like a good skirt. He said, short enough to be interesting, but long enough to cover the subject. So I know there are already a number of people making bets on length of the speeches, so we'll definitely keep those to a minute. Now also, before we go any further, I think we need a big hooray for the bridesmaids who are looking absolutely gorgeous. So let's hear it for the bridesmaids. Beauty surpassed only by our lovely Lindsay today. And Ron and Gillian, you must be very proud. And I think, gentlemen, it goes to say that today is indeed a very sad day as such a beautiful, eligible young lady is taken off the market. And ladies, well, it's just another day, right? Now, Mike very kindly has given me a long list of things that I'm not to talk about in my speech, which includes his time in prison, his driving skills, his recent tattoo, the fact that he won Geek of the Year, the Golden Anorak Awards, and various other little misnomers, but I'm of course going to ignore all that advice and talk about. I think we're going to focus on the driving. We're going to need some participation. Has anyone been in the car with Mike? So many survived. So, now Michael, as those of you who've been in the car will definitely guess, did not pass his test in the first time. Who here thinks that Mike passed his test on his second attempt? Wow, bold. Third attempt. Who thinks Mike passed on his fourth attempt? Fifth? Sixth? 6 times! And not only this, in one of his tests, I don't remember whether it was the fourth or the fifth, he managed to crash. Albeit a minor crash, but into a parked car. Right, I mean, that is absolutely genius, Mike. I still remember the first time I was ever in a car with Mike. I was in the back and Mike was there, Mike was driving, and Dorothy, Mike's mum, was in the front passenger seat. And nervously, I swear this is true, grasping the handbrake. And at first I thought, she's been incredibly paranoid, and then we went a few hundred yards, and I was like, yes, Dorothy, you use that. I can hardly talk, though. I did get pulled over the other day for texting whilst going through a red light. A little pot kettle in black. And it's good to see, actually, Michael, that nothing has changed, because yesterday was the last time, and will be the last time, that I was in the car with Mike. And we had a very short drive from Stockbridge up to the church, and we'd gone maybe, I don't know, 100 yards before third gear was grinding. And after another, maybe 200 or 300 yards, it was just beautiful. Michael was saying that there was a problem with the clutch. That the problem isn't in the clutch. For what he lacks in driving, he makes up vastly elsewhere. He's incredibly humble, incredibly intelligent, incredibly good looking, and what else? Oh, I'm sorry. But no, Michael does have a whole array of qualities, one of which is his competitiveness. Which, wow, you can tell that people are aware of this. I think my favourite moment of Mike being overly competitive was when we were in maybe 4th year at school. Did anyone study physics and get to play with dry ice? No. Wow, this story could bomb. Oh, so dry ice is frozen carbon dioxide, which is kind of like snow, but very, very cold and nasty, and if you touch it, it hurts. So I said to Mike, can we have a competition to see if you can hold a chunk of dry ice? And so I kid you not, golf balls sized chunks of dry ice. So I gave Mike this, and I get mine over the shoulder. and then I clasped my hand. And I'm putting on my best pain face, squeezing really hard to make my face go red. Mike's face was going red. You see the sweat dripping from it. I must have left him probably for a minute and a half before finally going, ha-ha! And well, Mike's response wasn't ha-ha, but he did have a very large blister. And still a scar, I believe? Yeah. And that's not actually the last time that I scarred Mike. I've heard him on a number of occasions. I took him, one of my favourite toys is my kite, which sounds a bit childlike, but my kite is 8 meters long. And we took this off Arthur's seat, and I let Mike fly it, who was significantly lighter than me. And I just remember, in horror, there's Mike grabs the two handles and disappears. But it's okay, because he figured that if he was going to land, he'd spread the load. So Mike belly flops onto the stones at Arthur's seat. Bit of concussion, but he got over that. And I seem to remember another scar that you have on your thumb from when I was showing him how sharp my new knife was. And I said, hey Mike, feel how sharp this is. And he felt it. I pulled it out of his hand. Do you still have the scar from that? I apologise for that. Now, I spoke to Dorothy, Mike's mum, to see if there was any dirt to dig up on Mike. I'm genuinely disappointed to say that there isn't. Mike, from all accounts, is just a very, very, very boring child. he even once said, I forget what he'd done, which was so naughty. I think it was maybe not eating all of his broccoli. and his mum told him off, and he said, this is Mike, 5 years old, and Dorothy says, 2.5 years old, looks at his mum with big blue eyes and says, Mother, I'm so sorry I'm such a difficult child. Isn't that brilliant? That wasn't the only family story. I was actually speaking to Duncan earlier on, who actually knows the youngest of three. It's Michael, Graham, and Duncan. And Duncan, bless him, has always wanted a sister. And now he finally has a sister. I believe the request is, Graham, please get your hair cut. Sorry. I'm not going to let him respond. Now we have a little something for Dorothy. May I put together a beautiful photo book of Mike through the years. And she describes him when he was very young, a baby. She said, obviously she's biased, but he was the most gorgeous child in the world. She described him as her golden child, literally to the doctor, only to be told that he had a mild case of neonatal jaundice. The golden child that he was indeed the case. And Dorothy is a dentist, and Mike used to be a terrible, terrible thumbsucker, and has always said that on his wedding day, she would give him back his little white, whatever these things are called. Little white strip. We figured with all the stress of the occasion, we wouldn't want you to go back to thumb sucking. There's a lot of money that's gone into those teeth. It would not be good. So there we go. I'll leave you with that. But no, joking aside, and I'll give you this. I've known Mike since I was 6. We knew each other from fevers. We went to stand there. We went to fevers together. We were all the way through school together. We went to university together, and then I moved to London to get away. Mike followed me down to London, and I'm back in Edinburgh. But Mike has been literally the best friend to me my whole life. We've both been through some interesting times. And I'm not sure I've always been there for Mike. Mike's always been there for me, so a big thank you for that, Mike. And Lindsay, you're incredibly safe hands. And Ron and Gillian, well, yeah, you're safe hands. I wouldn't want And I'd just like to, in passing, give you some words of wisdom and advice of what marriage may be like. You can find it. Can't read my own writing. Okay, Lindsay. You must remember that men are like a fine wine. It is your job to stamp them in the dark and extract them into something you'd like to have dinner with. And for Mike, you must remember, women are also like a fine wine. They start out fresh, fruity, and intoxicating to the mind, but then turned full-bodied with age, and everything was sitting there. Which I can guarantee will not be happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could all raise your glasses to the very beautiful and very wonderful Mike